Previously on part one of Prince Harry's Spare.
So in the beginning, something that kind of struck me is so many good gems in here. That's why we're encouraging y'all to read along with us, right? So in the beginning, he talked about how the home they lived in has 50 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
50 bedrooms. So that in and of itself tells you how it can create a lot of distance between his family and just having that love and those hugs. I mean, you're living in a place with 50 bedrooms. Sometimes in my little 2-bedroom humble abode here, me and my son, miss each other. I gotta call his name all the time. Like, yo, come here, come speak to your mother, come give your mother a hug, because that can happen. But imagine in 50 bedrooms. He felt slighted, I think, from the day he was pretty much born. And because he also talked about how one of the bedrooms was kind of split in half for his brother and the other side for him. And he talks about how he felt that his brother's bedroom was more luxurious than his. So from the very beginning, he felt like the underdog, so to speak. He felt like despair.
Yes. And so to the fact of what you're saying that, Diva, I do want to shout this out real quick. If you have not seen The Crown on Netflix, The Crown will give a very, very, very good upbringing of Prince Charles, Queen Elizabeth having the children. Queen Elizabeth was not a very touchy-feel type of mom. She was barely around for the majority of the upbringing of Prince Charles. So that lovey-dovey, emotional, feely type of thing, that is not their family at all. As far as the heirs, let me speak that specifically. The heirs. I believe a little later on in the chapter, Prince Harry speaks about Diva, how the higher heirs up were not allowed to be touched. They're not allowed to be kissed. They weren't allowed. They were just pecks on the cheeks every now and then. And so as it wasn't until as they kind of got into the 21st century that they really started shaking hands and hugging and things of that nature.
I think mentally he knew that his mother was gone, but his mind battled back and forth with whether his mother was just hiding out and was going to appear one day and say, "Hey, I'm here." He battled with that. In school, he had a really good friend that he called Has. Okay, he said Henners, like me, Henners was officially a Henry, but I always called him Henners, and he always calls me Has, right? And so he met this good friend in school that he connected with, and then later on, unfortunately, he's gonna have to deal with that good friend's, passing.
The passing of his mom, when you're learning, there's a part in our brain that has to work in order for us to retain the information and to keep it stored. But because he was so used to not restoring certain memories and keeping certain things blocked out, he struggled with school. And so it played a part in his grades and trying to keep up. And it just made him struggle even more. And that kind of really touched on my heart, Diva, because I was kind of a struggler in school. I have dyslexia. I've had it pretty much all my life. I had ADHD. And when you struggle in school, that's enough. But then to not have the support with your struggle, it's a whole
nother level. And then have people talk about you. And
talk about you.
And then, not just
your school, but the whole Commonwealth.
It's good.
It's sexual experience.
Wait, Sarah Real Talk named it for us, Roy. This is good, right? Sex, drugs, and rock and royals. Come on.
Yes! Boy, I love you. It's a great tribe. Y'all know how to do it and do it well. Come on with the titles. Yes. Y'all have taken me out. Yes.
That one right there. That one right there, okay? That one right there.
Oh my god.
We love it.
We love it. That's the title. That's the book, honey.
Honey, because he was behind in that yard rocking. But anyway, go ahead. It's Saturday afternoon, Roy. We ain't gonna take this to no night day. Go ahead now. What you
We're
want
not
to talk
gonna do
about?
it. We're not gonna do it. Yeah, but he does love them and wants to bring it back together and hopefully be on one accord again one
Right.
day. So we're
And
hoping
the
for that as well.
confusion as he sees it, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
everybody tells their story through their eyes. It's
Their
the
eyes. That's
confusion as
true.
he sees it. Because we forgot to mention, and then we're gonna close our warrior. We forgot to mention when he was walking through the garden with his dad and his brother. Both
Yeah,
the
I talked
dad
about
and the
that a
brother
little
was
bit.
like, "What?" Both the dad and the brother was like, "Yo, bro, we don't know why you left.
We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what the problem is. We don't see no issue. From what we understand, you picked up, packed your bags, took some of ours, and left. Look, in the
Ooh.
words of Tyler Perry, Christina's gone. So
Okay.
yes, they are very confused. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand. They didn't have a problem with Megan. They didn't have a problem with the baby. They didn't have a problem with him. They good.
I got a better understanding and some insight into who he really is. Love you guys. See y'all soon. Join the tour. Love, laugh, inspire. We're here for
Yes.
y'all.
Bye.
Roy, as you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, have a heart.
Goodbye, y'all. Hello, 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 and welcome to Royer's World. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, I'm so glad you decided to join me again. Please remember, as you're coming in the building, to hit the like button, comment down below, let me know you're in the building so I can shout you out. And then if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. I promise you won't be disappointed. We're here day in and day out, during the week, during the weekend, spreading love, laughter, inspiration, and just having a good old time, okay? So I'm so glad to have you here. Like I said, like, comment down below, and subscribe. And let's get this part 2 of Prince Harry's Spare started, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my lovely, beautiful Auntie Diva in the building. Hey, Auntie Diva.
Hey.
How you doing?
I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm trying to learn what y'all love about these Apple products. I'm trying over here, okay? This thing is giving me high level anxiety this morning, but I'm trying, okay?
You made it through. You on your Apple computer, right? Listen, Auntie Diva got it up and going, y'all. Let me do a quick shout out. If you do not know, this is Chronicles of the Gray-Haired Diva from YouTube as well. She is my YouTube mentor. She has been so awesome to me in these YouTube streets. We've been flying and training with one another since August, and we just going up and away. So if you do not, please, or excuse me, if you have not, please go on over, subscribe to Auntie Diva's channel, Chronicles of the Gray-Haired Diva. She'll love to have you. We're trying to reach 30,000 subscribers over there this month of February. So go subscribe, like a video, comment down below. Let her know you are a part of the Gray family, okay? Let's go ahead and get the people in the building. Hey, Black Panthers, it's glad to see you again. Good afternoon, Auntie Robin. Hey, Lynn. Hey, BJ Des. Hey, Ray, it's so good to see y'all.
Started the book this
morning. Okay, so listen, you got to go back and watch part 1 on Diva's channel. So like I said, if you're not subscribed, run over there and subscribe, come back, and then after this review, go watch part 1 and hit the like button on that one, okay? I'm so glad. Listen, we are going to get this thing started. We got people in the building. As Auntie Diva said, hit that like button as you're coming in. I'm super excited. Hey, Deborah Davis. It's so good to have you. Hey, Shan. Yes. Nubian, hello. I'm so glad you're in the building with us. Aunt Nana Nita, hey.
Look, oh shoot.
Look.
Oh shoot. You see that picture?
And push. Okay.
Okay.
And press.
I love
Okay.
it. Hey,
This
Miss Puppy K.
Yes. Hey. Listen, the people are in the building, Diva. Okay.
Hey, Bernice.
Hey,
We love you for
Bernice.
being here.
Yes. Hey, Cynthia. I'm super glad that y'all have joined us. We are going to get started on this part 2.
Yeah.
Listen, to me, as I stated a little earlier yesterday in Diva's live, part 1 was the foundation of Harry. We got the birth. We got the passing of mom. We got him going into school, how school was going. We got the relationship between him and Prince William. We got the relationship between him and his dad. We found out that Camilla and dad got married. I mean, so much happened in part 1. And so to me, part 2 has done nothing but build on top of the foundation. And in my opinion, is giving us a setup of who Prince Harry has become today.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
So I am super excited, Diva. Did you want to start us off with whatever you seen or whatever stuck out to you most going into this part 2 and opening up this chapter?
Yeah, I mean, it was so much stuff. And as you stated, he's just continuing the build up, of everything that happened in part 1. A lot of this part 2 deals with the fact that, he did go into like the services, right? He did serve the country. But let me tell you something that I think will always be difficult for celebrity kids. He's a royal for the royals. Is the fact that when you're born into a certain status, so much is already on your back. Just being a kid, period. Forget about being a kid that you're a celebrity kid or whatever the case may be. Being a kid, period, you're going to go through some trials and tribulations. But imagine adding to those trials and tribulations that are just going to happen naturally. Imagine adding to the fact that now you're a royal, or now you're the daughter of Kim Kardashian, or you the daughter of Diana Ross, and then everybody want to know, can you sing? Okay, what are you doing? Because your mother and father did this. Your father is Tom Hanks, who is an amazing actor, and they looking at you like, can you act? So they just deal with so much more, and I think that Prince Harry took that syndrome and kind of amplified it, right? So he really just could not deal with the fact that not only was he a royal, but he was considered despair. And so even though he went to serve his country, they was debating back and forth, like, should he even go? If he does go, he can't participate in the war. And then when he talked about how he had to kill people, no matter what comes out of his mouth, he's going to be crucified. People are going to judge him, and he will never be allowed. Like, nothing will be right. It's just so crazy. And you know what? Another point I want to bring up, Roy, is like he talks about his different girlfriends along the way, right?
Yes.
And how about this? None of them can handle the paparazzi and what it meant dating Prince Harry. So again, I connect that to say to everybody, I understand everybody's so charged saying that, they're racist and they can't stand anybody and what they did to Meghan. Well, I want y'all to read this book, because check this. They did it to everybody he dated. So much so that a lot of them bowed out. They was like, listen, I like you a lot. I got to go. I can't handle this paparazzi following me around. I can't handle what I need to handle dating a royal. And so a lot of them was just like, that's it, deuces. So Meghan, again, you should have did your homework. But go ahead, Rand. This ain't isolated to you. You know what I'm saying?
That is facts. And like you said, that was a big part of this chapter. And he actually had a main, I hate to say it like this, but there was a main girl that he was continuously kind of on and off with throughout this chapter, Chelsea. And Chelsea really struggled. I think Chelsea struggled with his sense of not being independent, but not really being independent, being able to make your choices, but not really being able to make your own choices. But she actually having the independency and the freedom to do what she wanted to do. She actually having the freedom to make her choices and what she chose not to do and do. So I think that kind of struggled for him as well. From the way I read it, he may have been a tad bit jealous that she had the affordability and the freedoms to kind of do what she wanted. But it also bothered him because, as you said, the paparazzi, I mean, they were crazy. The Paps, as he called them, they stuck trackers to the cars. They pulled up to the family's house, to the friend's house. Sis couldn't even go to school on campus in peace. She couldn't even learn in peace. She couldn't do nothing.
Couldn't do nothing.
And so I understand, you know, how that kind of makes you want to be like, I don't think I want to be a part of this life at all. And I thought it was very amazing as well. Not only did Harry kind of have that back and forth, but I think he had that back and forth of pulling because the royals were really kind of pulling him, the institution rather, let me say, were kind of pulling him. Okay, you can be in the war, but then you can't be in the war. You can do this, but then you can't do that. Well, you're a prince, but you're the spare. But it was just like every opportunity that he had the chance to kind of be free and do what made him happy, it was snatched from up under him as soon as he got to that point of, okay, I'm getting there. Nope, not anymore.
You know why, Roy? Because everything in his life had to be proved from the up above. Okay, so unfortunately, he wasn't a regular person, and he will never be a regular person. No. And even though he's here in the U.S. now in real time, you're still not a regular person. You're just a royal. What do they call the people that are outcasts? You're a royal outcast. You're a royal outcast, but they still want to attach the word royal to your name. Now, let's talk about how his brother met the wife and was dating the wife, and I'm like on page 178, and how he eventually was prepared to marry the wife, and you know, Prince Harry talks about his mom's ring.
Girl, let me tell you, because now, see, and Diva, even before we kind of get to that, I was already a little irritated with Prince William because it was giving for me, you know, you're already the next heir in line. You're already in charge. You're kind of already running things.
Right.
And so you would think that he would be more than happy to support his brother in any way that he could.
That part.
But it seemed like that William was just as jealous as Harry was kind of jealous of William. I didn't understand. Did you get that?
I caught that. But you know what? William was like public enemy number one to his own brother. He never wanted to embrace him. It was like it was almost like, so William treated Harry like despair.
Yes.
Instead of treating him like his brother, he treated him like the bottom of his shoe. Just from the information we getting out of this book, he always treated him like trash. He almost treated him like, I don't care if you're around or not around. Like, he was messy, I think, William. He was just always like that. From when they went to school together, act like you don't know me. Like, he was messy. But you know what? I forgot. Like, even, let me see. You know, he talked about let me see, what did I write here? He talked about how even before that, he talked about how, like, you know, like you said, Prince Harry was always trying to find his way, so to speak, and find out what made him happy, what makes me happy. And so he talked about how, you know, even though he hated the Paps, he ended up becoming a photographer. And he talked about, remember how he was with his friends and, you know, just friends playing around. And he had friends from all different backgrounds. And so he said he was filming his friends. And when he was filming his friends, you know, and joking around, he was like, oh, that's so-and-so. Oh, this is so-and-so. And then he said that, you know, he had a Pakistani friend. And he said, and our little Packy friend, that's what he had said when he was filming the video. He had sent the video because he wanted it to be part of like their graduation from the army or something like that. When they graduated from the army, he wanted it to be part of that collection of videos, how you pull stuff together. Well, of course, you know, it got leaked to the and this is on page 161. You know, they said of course somebody leaked it to the press, and now the press, you know, they see that and they was calling him racist. And even his friend father was like, you know, saying something about Harry being racist. And it was legit, like, you know how you got a bunch of friends. Now I don't like this, but there are some females that call their girlfriends bees and hoes, and they don't necessarily mean they'll be a hoe,
Right.
like their admiration towards their friend, right?
Mhm.
And so this was not Harry being racist. This was him being with a group of friends and saying like, oh, that's my black friend. That's my,
Right.
you know, that's my so-and-so friend. And they just took it. So everything that Prince Harry does, the press makes a villain out of him. And this was way before Meghan came. So again, I make the point of, you know, everybody wants to kind of relate, like, they did Meghan dirty. No, honey, they did your husband dirty way before you came along.
Yeah, it was everybody. It was
everybody.
everybody. Before you jump to that 170, I want to jump back real quick, Diva. On page 122, we kind of see the falling out of Harry. Now, let's preface this real quick. We are in the time frame of 2007. Harry's 23, where I'm talking about. So we're still young, we're still growing, we're still maturing. And so at this stage in his life, he is kind of falling apart, if you may. He doesn't know what direction he wants to go in. He's drinking more. He's doing more, you know, of the certain other things. And so he begins to kind of get violent with his bodyguard, Billy, you know, and Billy has been very supportive of Harry, has been around for Harry. And so Billy really had to kind of have a real conversation with Harry. Like, look, you can't put your hands on the pipes. You can't put your hands on me. You can't put your hands on people, because they are waiting to have a moment to snap, pay me, literally. Yeah. And so they came up with the idea on page 122. And it was the same idea that his mom used when she was trying to get away from the Paps. Mm-hmm. She would hide in the trunk of the car. He said he would get in there, fold his arms, bend up, and he said he felt like that he was in a casket, but that was his only way to get out of wherever he was in peace, without the Paps really coming for him. And then a little bit after
isn't that sad, though?
Isn't that horrible? That is horrible. I have never even imagined having to get, first of all, I've never been in a trunk, but to have to actually think to put myself in a trunk just so that I can have peace. So I can have peace.
So you got peace. So
that's
you got
crazy.
Peace. Yeah.
And then a little bit after that, we have their mother's 10-year concert anniversary. And so they told us they went directly into that. No emotion, no feeling, just planning. And then the night of the event, they kind of fell apart, which I was just like, wow, you know, it's amazing how you can kind of go through the motions of stuff, just going through. And then as soon as it's there, it's like, dang, we made it here. Like,
because you know what? They never grieved.
Yes.
They never was able to fully grieve their mother passing. It was like, your mom passed, put on your suit. It's the funeral. You're going to walk behind the casket. And I felt like nobody checked on them afterwards. Nobody checked on them to say, like, are you okay? Listen, you know what? Black Panthers, she said a comment in there. Thank you, Black Panthers. She said a comment in there. I heard Prince Harry say that Camilla had a strong connection with the British press and made up many stories. I believe it. And the book kind of like leans towards, you know, that situation. Mm-hmm. It really does. I wholeheartedly believe it.
Camilla was a problem from the beginning, and she continued to be a problem.
That part. Way before Diana was ever gone, Camilla was a problem. And let me tell you something, Roy. Here's the thing: if you are a female that you like this man, and you know he didn't marry you, he married somebody else. Go like what we said, take your purse, go to the back of the church, sit down in the pew, mind your business, and find you a man for yourself. But I feel like Camilla was always waiting in the background for something to happen so that you know, she can get with her. Diva, Meghan's criticism was magnified and intensified due to her See, you know what, Misbehaving? You gotta read the book
Yeah,
because
you gotta read it.
I'm gonna tell you, I promise you,
I don't agree with that.
everything that happened with Meghan, it was been going on with Harry way before Meghan even came along. And they did it to his other girlfriends. The Prince Harry was not the chosen one. He called the book Spare for a reason, because literally his whole life he was treated like the spare. And in addition to that, they're not like us. You know how we can make our own decisions? I'm gonna get up and go to Target. I'm gonna get up and do this. No, everything that he did, it had to be approved from up above. Even when he got caught with the drugs, up above said, you know what, run the story.
Let it go.
Run the story. They could have blocked it. They could have blocked it. And this was long before Meghan came. So, and remember, I don't know if you was here yet when I said that all of his previous girlfriends, they couldn't deal with the shenanigans. That's why they was like, deuces, Harry. Okay. And let me tell you, we didn't get to this part yet, Roy, but he also talks about how he longed to get married. He did not want to get married old like his father. I'm not saying he doesn't love Meghan, but when anybody in this world, when your goal is just to get married, not to truly fall in love, and
you put a ring on anybody.
That part.
Anybody. I love Black Panther's comment right here. Prince William is too much like Pappy. Hello.
And that's facts. If you read the book.
If you read the book, that's big facts.
That's facts. That's facts. But you know what I will say though about his dad? His dad truly loved him. William, I got a big question mark behind that.
I think Dad did the best that he could with what he what he knew.
Yep.
I heard Prince Harry say that Camilla is a strong. Okay, we read that already. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Alrighty. So, Diva, then we kind of move on into Prince Harry going into Afghanistan, and.
Well, do you want to go there, Roy? Or do you want to talk about that wedding first? I'm losing the order.
Yeah, that was a little after.
Okay. So go ahead. Yeah.
Well, who's Prince William's wedding?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a little after.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, we are in on page 125, around there, 125, 126.
Okay.
He's going into Afghanistan. He's officially been released back into the military. And his marching orders are to be a FAC, which is a forward air controller. He was very interested in it. He really wanted to be out on the war field, on the war land, actually helping, but from the higher ups, because of who he was, even just being the spare, it wasn't about him personally. It was about him covering the air. And if something happens to the spare, the air ain't gonna have a coverage. So, selfish thinking?
A little bit, tad bit.
Yep. And so he didn't really want this to get out into the media, what was going on, because if he knew if it got out into the media, he would be right back into the palace headquarters where he started off in the first place. And so they found a great place for him to grow, which is Sandringham. Sandringham is his granny's vacation country estate. And so he was able to stay a little bit down the street from there in a hotel. He was able to see his dad a little bit after being there. Now, he talked about how he had not really been around his dad since him and Camilla had got married. Married life had kind of occupied Pa, and Camilla had snatched up his time, and Camilla was doing what she was doing, taking care of Pa, so he didn't have no room to take care of Harry. But when he did find that time, it was very emotional, connected, very deep, meaningful time. And I love that about this book. Now, when he does spend the time with his dad, he makes it seem like it was his best moments, his proudest moments in the world with his dad. So I just wanted to touch on that because I did feel like we kind of gave Pa a little nasty look I did. I'll speak for me. I gave Pa a little nasty look last week, but as I got further into the book, I really see that he appreciates what Pa tried to do to help him get through those little moments in life.
100%. And you know what? Later on, when his brother gets married, he makes a good analogy about marriage. What he said about marriage was, he said that it's like a wedding and a funeral all in one. because when the person gets married, he said you kind of no longer have that same access to them, and you no longer see them again the same way. And we'll touch more on that when his brother actually ends up getting married. But Camilla was a strong force, and I think all the things that his dad did before Camilla and him actually got married and she moved into the palace, so to speak, it all ceased. But you know what though? Camilla was selfish from the door. She's just selfish, and I'll use the word troll instead of the H word.
Mm-hmm. And like Diana always said, there was always a third in this marriage. There was never two. It was never a couple. It was always a few.
Yeah. And you know, I see, you know, misbehaving. A lot of people feel that way. They're saying she said that no, none of the other girlfriends were referred to as monkeys. But you know what, misbehaving, they was treated just as badly.
Mm-hmm. I actually wanted to talk on that real quick since we're in that section. So after he went off into the FAC, him and Chelsea were still together, but he was having problems because of their distance. Number one, they were so far apart. Number two, Chelsea was kind of still living her life. She was living it up. And this is kind of, in my opinion, the point where Harry's mind kind of start changing. And he really starts seeing that him being helpful around the world and in his community really benefits him personally. Yeah. And it just made me think of automatically Princess Diana. I was just like, oh my gosh, he is truly his mother's son, like literally. And so they had a difficult conversation of whether or not they would stay together. Should we break up? Should we keep going? Should we not? And so during that time, they kind of took a little break, but they eventually ended up back together. And so then we kind of push into 2007, where England was in the semi-finals, for the Rugby World Cup. It was held in Paris. And so guess what? Prince Harry was extended an invitation to come to that Rugby World Cup series. Mm-hmm. And so once he got there, you know, they had a driver prepared for him. He was super excited. He gets there and he asks the driver after the event, do you know the tunnel that my mom went through? And the driver's eyes lit up and he said, yes, I do. And he said, I want to go. He said, are you sure? He said, yes, immediately. And so they drove on down to that tunnel. There was a title for that tunnel, but I'm going to mess it up really badly, so I'm not going to name it. And
I would mess it up too. So
that will tell you, go read the book. Go read it.
Yes,
but
read the book.
Yes, he gets down there to go through the tunnel. That first experience, he was shocked, because he was thinking that this tunnel was curvy, like it was, you know, just some bumps or whatever. And the way that they described the incident happening is that it was just this horrifying thing and that her driver lost control and all this extraness. But after he drove through it, he was just shocked that they lied and said that the driver was going 112 miles, I think it was. Yeah. But he told the driver to go exactly 68 miles, which is the mileage that the driver was going when Princess Diana was in the car. And Harry was just like, that's it? That's all? Like, there was a little bump in the road. He said, I didn't even feel it. So they go back through it again, and he instantly regretted it. And I thought right there, Diva, that was just like a touching moment for my heart. I was just like, for him to have the bravery, first of all, for someone who has not grieved yet, but then you have the bravery to go to the actual site of which this happened.
You know, when I was reading that, Roy, first of all, this book is so touching.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that Camilla.
That damn Camilla.
Okay. Camilla, she was a real city girl. Don't do misbehaving, please. Okay? Can't stand her. I'm sorry.
Hey, Lorraine.
In the book, his father always addressed him. Yes, he did. The love is there, but it's just not expressive. Because the dad didn't know how to do it that way, because he wasn't taught how to do it that way.
Exactly.
But definitely, I agree with you. The love is there. But him, first of all, when he said he wanted to go, my heart dropped. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It is like, you know, he really needs high level therapy, not just therapy, like intense therapy, because it's like he just can't shake this thought of his mother not being here and going in this horrific way. And I think to protect his mind and not go crazy, that's why he goes in and out and pretending like she's still here, she's not here, she's still here.
And this trip actually put that final closing to his mom and really accepting in a way.
Yes, somewhat, because later on again, when he talks about, the wedding with the brother,
it goes that back and forth. Yeah.
It goes back and forth. So again, this is the connection I wanted to make with you, Royer, and everybody listening. So Prince Harry was depressed, and he admits that. We're going to get to the part when he talks to his dad about it. So he suffers with depression. How ironic, because they said we attract the energy of not who we think we are, but what we truly are inside. So how ironic did he connect with Meghan, and Meghan had to say too at some point when she was in there, because of everything she was going through, how she was depressed, how she was suffering with mental illness, and she really needed help. And he talked about pretty much too how he just never got help with his own, mental illness. Do you know what I mean? It's like those two came together in a perfect storm. I feel like they both were just having their own different traumas because, Meghan had her own situation with her dad. Dad and dad. Do you see that? He had some issues.
What they say, trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding. She has some issues with dad. He has some issues with dad. She went through her thing. He was going through his thing. I remember the rumor that
yes.
Yeah. And listen, can I tell you I believe it? I believe it. Do I believe? Well, we ain't gonna go down that road, Royer, because I was gonna say, do I believe it was just a car crash? No. I don't.
We'll have to have a conversation separately on that because I got my own opinions too. And when they talk about this the paps and the higher ups. It kind of made me think, Diva, does the palace set all of this up to keep the attention going? But because if we think about it, the royals in this time frame, now I'm going to kind of take us, I hate to veer us off the road, but I'm going to kind of take us over to the crown. During this time frame, they are having a lot of issues with keeping England under a monarch.
Yep.
A lot of the people are ready to be free. A lot of the people do not see the purpose of the royals. They don't understand it. They're ready to let it go. So this is a very tumultuous time in England, across the Commonwealth, not even going into the personal family. So
and you want to know what's funny too, though, Royer? It's funny how they don't like the paps, but they use the paps to their advantage when they need to.
Hello.
That part.
That's why I said it's something to that.
It's something to that. But again, guys, that scene where he's going through the tunnel and then they go back through the tunnel, it's like heart-wrenching. Yes. It really takes a gut at you and you're like, oh my God. And the whole time I was like, why are you doing this? Why are you going with here? Why do you want to see? Do you know what I mean, Royer? I'm like, why?
I just think, when you have those questions, those undoubtable questions in your head that you just can't get over.
Yeah.
To live with that, at this time, Harry's 23, 24. So to live with that from 12 up until now, that's a long time to just be having those questions dwindling in your mind constantly. And then especially, it's not like he can go ask someone because as he told us, the family didn't talk about it. Nope. Once they buried her, everybody moved on and went on about their business.
They was like, ooh, Diana's gone. That's how they did it. Literally. It was like, Diana's gone.
Oh, well, on to the next.
And I think his dad, I'm going to be honest with you, both fathers are a mess. I think his dad, to be honest with you, I'm not saying it didn't bother him, Diana being gone. I felt like he was like, I could really live my life now. Hey, Manuel.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? It was that freedom. It was the,
Yeah. But that scene was a bit much. But yes.
Let's hop on to the wedding, Diva, because I'm ready. I think pretty much everything in the next couple of chapters. Just to review, he's in the war, or not in the war. He's in service. He's becoming a flight what they call them, the people that fly the planes. Can't think of
Yes.
it. He's becoming one of those people, in which he's kind of following in the footsteps of his father and his brother. Both of them were pilots. That's what the word is. Both of them were pilots. So it was just nice. We kind of start seeing Harry become kind of happy then, kind of start changing his mindset. He's really happy to be in the service, serving the people, serving his country. That's kind of what he was always taught. You're here to serve your country, make the people look good, make your country look good. So in that aspect, I think Harry did an excellent job when it came to serving his country from a military standpoint. He did an excellent job. They kind of also talk about, the pot steal, the magazines. One of the magazines in Australia, they picked up a story.
You talking about the story when he called his friend the Packy?
Yes, the Packy. They picked up that story.
When they picked up that story, it was sad, right? Because
Horrible.
Prince Harry wanted to speak for himself and give an apology, because he was like, I'm not racist. I didn't even know that saying Packy was a racial slur. And then what didn't help either is like his friend knew that he didn't mean it like that. So when his friend father spoke out, the friend could have came and spoke out and said, yo, Harry's my friend. He doesn't mean it like that. But he said that. So what he said here on page 162, he said, my father's office issued an apology on my behalf. I wanted to issue one as well, but the court has advised against it. Not the best strategy, sir. And he said, the heck with the strategy. I don't care about strategy. I care about people not thinking I'm a racist. I cared about not being a racist. Above all, I cared about, and he's talking about his friend Ahmed. I connected with him directly, apologized. He said that he knew I wasn't racist. No big deal. But it was. And his forgiveness, his easy grace only made me feel worse.
Yes.
He can't catch a break.
He can't catch a break for nothing. It's like, if I do something good, it's an issue. If I do something bad, it's an issue. If I do something mediocre, it's still an issue. It was just no pleasing in anything that he did. And, around this time as well, him and Chelsea were having issues. And so Tej, his friend Tej, this is when we start to see him and Tej kind of have some kind of romantic feeling for each other in relationship. But I think it goes back to Diva, what we just talked about, that trauma bonding, because in my opinion, Tej didn't seem too stable to me either,
No.
So
No, not at all. Okay, not at all. Not stable at all.
But I think they had very much the same similar thoughts to each other. Tej was all about helping the community, all about serving, all about Tej and Mike, which are two of his friends. And so they really pushed Harry into continuing his service and serving the country and serving the people, doing what he could do with his powers to help others.
100%. Yeah.
So let's get on to this wedding, honey, because this is the best.
Are we getting on to the wedding? Well, first of all, because I'm trying to find my page that I marked. The page that I marked when William meets what's the name?
278. It's around
I didn't want to drop that far. Was I going that far yet?
Is it that far
I
up?
wanted to talk about the part first when they was engaged or whatever. That's the part I want to talk about on 178.
Yes.
When they got engaged and him and Kate got engaged. And listen, Harry said he always liked Kate. Like he never had a problem with her, right? Mm-hmm. And he said when he found out that William was giving him the wedding, Diana's ring. Mm-hmm. And he said, it was never my ring to give away, but I just felt like well, let me see exactly what he said. He said, the papers published stories about the moment I realized Willie and Kate were well matched. The moment I appreciated the depth of their love and thus decided to gift Willie the ring I inherited from mommy, the legendary sapphire. A tender moment between brothers, a bonding moment for all three of us, and absolute rubbish. None of it ever happened. I never gave Willie that ring because it wasn't mine to give. So, the Paps, they publish stories that, that the up above want the world to hear, right? So it's
the lies.
Right? So they want, they thought it would be a nice thing is to be like, oh, Prince Harry inherited this ring from Diana, and he gave it to his brother so that his brother can propose to Kate and give her the ring. And he was like, yeah, it's all lies. He said it was never my ring to give to him anyway, right? He said, rubbish. None of it ever happened. I never gave Willie that ring because it wasn't mine to give. He already had it. He asked for it after mommy died, and I've been more than happy to let it go. Okay. He said, now as Willie focused on wedding preparations, I wished him well and turned sharply inward. So he was always judging himself.
Mm-hmm.
He always was judging himself. He always wanted to get married. So here it is. He thought he was going to be the first one to get married, but now his brother is married and engaged and about to get married, and he doesn't even have a girlfriend. So he's like beating himself down. And in addition to that, he's trying so hard, like many children do. I'm not going to be like my parents. And then they end up being exactly like their parents, because he swore 10 toes down that he would never be like his dad. But then in the meantime, because he said his dad got married older, and he said that's why his dad pretty much didn't play out in the field with him and all of that, because he was an older dad. And then here he is, he's on the trajectory of being an older husband and dad, because he doesn't even have anybody yet, right? So he said now as Willie focused on wedding preparations, I wished him well and turned sharply inward. I thought long and hard about my singlehood. I always assumed I'd be the first to be married because I wanted it so badly. I always assumed that I'd be a young husband, a young father, because I resolved not to become my father, right? He said he'd been an older dad, and I always felt this created problems, placed barriers between us. In his middle years, he became more sedentary, more habitual. He liked his routines. He wasn't the kind of father who played endless rounds of tag or tossed the ball until after dark. So he was just so determined that I'm not going to be my dad. And now history is repeating itself, because he can't even find him a bull, let alone see anything towards getting engaged or married. But go ahead. I just wanted to, throw that in there. I thought that was very interesting.
Yes. And so we kind of, after that, I feel like, in my opinion, that's when we kind of start seeing the division between Harry and William. And we start kind of seeing the unfolding of their relationship. A little bit before that, Diva, they were living in Shoreshire. I know I'm saying that wrong, y'all. But they were living together, and that was the first time that William and Harry had lived together since being in Eden. And that was like middle school, high school. So all of this time, has passed. They're finally living together. They're getting along. Things are going good. Now William has announced his marriage to Kate. He kind of feels like he's losing his brother, after he's finally kind of gotten his brother back again. This was just a tumultuous time, in my opinion, Diva, because I feel like this now here again, we kind of start seeing the downfall of Harry and his unhappiness.
It's very sad, right? It's very sad. And then there was a point too. I forgot. Let me see. I'm trying to remind myself what happened there. He said, so it kind of goes back and forth of his time, like when he was serving in the service, so different scenes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the paparazzi got a picture of him, in a Nazi uniform. He said, I understood that the photo of me in a Nazi uniform had been the result of various failures. He said, failure of thinking, failure of character, but it had also been a failure of education.
Yes.
Not just school education, but self-education. I hadn't known enough about the Nazis, hadn't taught myself enough, hadn't asked enough questions of teachers and families and survivors. I resolved to change that. I couldn't become the person I hoped to be until I changed that. And he judges himself really harshly all the time. He doesn't cut himself a break. And I think he doesn't cut himself a break because no one around him cuts him a break. He's always the fall guy. So, okay, with the all of us are in trouble. Let's go ahead and put this off on Harry's back.
But you know what? We got to jump back real quick because I had this written down too. This was very important to me.
Yes. Okay.
And let me know if I misread this. Now, Harry was not informed of William's engagement until after all was said and done.
That is correct.
Harry was also not William's best man.
He was not. So wait, let's back that up. Let's back that up. To the world, no. They played him out on a regular basis.
They played him out. Oh my God.
All the way around. So what they did was they put it out to the world that he was the best man. But in reality, he was not the best man. And the two friends that were the best men, they didn't want to put it out there for several reasons that they was the best man. They said one, because they knew that the world was going to she's like, just say it. Just Black Panthers, you know what though? They come for us in the emails.
Look.
You didn't pronounce that right. You didn't say that right. You didn't do this. They jump on our back. So they put out in the papers that Prince Harry was the best man, but his own brother told him to shut his mouth. When it came to the help me out with the best man speech.
With the best man, yes.
He couldn't even really be. He can't never be himself.
Never.
He can't never.
He didn't even want him to give the best man speech because he felt like he was gonna do too much or do not, whatever.
They were brutal to him to the point. So the papers, the world saw him as the best man, but behind the scenes, there was two other guys that was truly the best man, which I thought
was so unfair because if we remember the eve of Prince William's wedding, he got wasted, like toe down. And so he decided he was going to go out and talk to the people.
I almost said what E said one time on my show, but I'm gonna let that go.
Listen, look, I don't know what that may be. E say all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he was pissy drunk.
Yes.
So much so that the day of his wedding, when they got in the Bentley, he still smelled it
of the liquor.
Let's talk about the church or the place.
Well, before we talk about the church real quick, Diva, I just wanted to make the point of what we were making previously. How it was just he was always treated as the spare. Now you pissy drunk and you want to go out and speak to the people. Your security tells you no. You still say yes. And so guess what? Who do you ask to be your backup?
The person you don't never want around you. That part. So let's back up a little bit right here. So what happened was, of course, everything that the royals do, the people out there want to see it, right? So they was camping out all night. They had blankets, pillows, or whatever, waiting for them to walk out and waiting for him and Kate to get married. So William was like, I gotta go speak to the people. And of course, security, because they can't just do what they want. Security's like, nah, we don't advise that. Don't be going out there speaking to them little people. And he was like, no, I gotta go. They've been out there camping out. They got blankets, whatever. I gotta go speak to them, right? Now he don't never want Prince Harry. He didn't want him to be the best man. Okay? Because he thought he was gonna run his mouth too much. But when he was gonna go speak to the people, to the common folks, he like, come on, Prince Harry, you gotta come with me. Using and abusing. So then once we get into the church, now to me, Prince William's wedding was the most horrifying experience for Prince Harry because this was one of the first times that they had been back in this church. And this is the church that their mother was buried in and 3,000 others prior to, kings and queens and bishops and archbishops and all this other stuff that they have over in England. And so he said just walking down that aisle, it just gave him chills down his body because just remembering this is the same aisle that I walked down to view my mother's final resting place. This is the same place that my dad and my brother and my grandfather, walked with us at a young age. And he was questioning to himself, why, at such a young age, would y'all allow this to happen? Pretty much knowing that we're going to have to be back in this same building one day, giving ourselves to this country. You know what? I don't think the thought is not about the people in the royal family. The thought is about their and maybe you got to help me find the word here, their process, their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the thought is about. So when something happens, they're not thinking how do we protect Prince Harry, Prince William. They're thinking about how do we protect the
The
monarch.
firm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you got to be the sacrificial lamb to so they can protect, you know, their values, their morals, and what they're trying to put forth as the agenda, then you're gonna be the sacrificial lamb. It's like a point blank period.
The sacrificial lamb, and that is what they made him. Or let me not say that's what they made him. That is what he portrayed that they made him to be.
Right.
Through pretty much his whole life experience. And
Right.
so after him and Kate got married, you know, Harry said it made him feel like that he was losing his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he felt like he had already lost his dad because dad went off and married Camilla and they done went on about their business. So pretty much everybody in the family has gotten to their happy place doing what they desire, doing what they want to do, while Harry is still stuck here trying to figure out what's next for me.
Wait, but Roya, you gotta explain to me how he said what was with his penis and it froze.
Whoo, child. I was a little confused on that, and then I started to read on a little further in the chapter. So from what I understand, he got the little frostbite from when he went up to the North Pole, when he was invited to the North Pole.
Oh.
And so that's what I think that it came from, because it just came out of nowhere when he started talking about it, and I was like, sorry.
Yeah, so, what is this about? I was
but
like,
you know what? Oh my God. I do want to speak on this, Diva, real quick before we get ahead to that. Yes. Because the media tried to make this seem like it was a lie, and so did TJ Maxx. So the media used to tear up Prince Harry for his wardrobe and how he looked. How you the Prince of Wales, the future Prince of Wales, and you just look a mess all the time. So Prince Harry said once a year. And let me tell you, Prince Harry was economical when it came to clothes.
Wasn't he though? Yeah. Wasn't he though?
Once a year, he rode on down to TJ Maxx about 30 minutes to an hour before they close.
Yep.
Their one-day sale where they have everything on
the
sale.
Gap, the this, the
everything. That. And how they try to sit up here and lie to us in the media talking about that ain't something that they do. Liars. But yes, he said he got affordable clothing.
Well, you know what? You know what though, Roy? Hold on. Mm-hmm. I don't believe Prince William would ever do that. I don't believe Kate would ever do that. Damn. But remember, the Spears got to do what they got to do because they get treated dirty. Mm. And when I say the Spears, I'm talking about all the Spears in the royal family, not just Prince Harry.
I think the Princess Spears, Anne, Princess Margaret, Prince, all of them, all of them. Because each and every one of them down the line, even though they are not in succession, Princess Margaret, her children are prince and princesses. You know, the other two sons that the queen has, even though one of them has been snatched of his titles, as he should have due to the allegations and the things that he be doing, allegedly. But yeah, it was just, I thought it was very economical of him. He thought about, you know, I don't have to look like $1 million. I could still look good and spend $50. So I loved it. And he said either way, wherever you were shopping, you were getting the same stuff, just a little bit cheaper.
That part. I think, you know what, Prince, listen, when you have more than one child, I think that, you know, you can have a mixed gamut of things. Sometimes one of them really highly connect or seem to have more traits of the dad, and then somebody really connects to the mom. I think that Prince Harry, he wholeheartedly connected to his mom, so much so I feel like her soul left her body and jumped into his.
Literally.
Literally,
yes.
right? And he just always has this internal connection to his mom. And I think because his mom was kind of like a regular person, so to speak, that's why he's like, I went to TJ Maxx, and if y'all do it, y'all can go on this day and do this, that, and the other, and y'all gonna get the deals, and y'all gonna get stuff that everybody paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for. You're gonna get it at TJ Maxx cheaper. So what did Miss Behavior say?
Harry never felt the love from his family until he married Meghan. Her giving birth to Archie solidified his love for her.
Yeah, I mean, you
I
gotta
kind of
read the
agree and I
book.
disagree. I kind of agree and disagree. Yeah, you got to read the book for
You
sure.
gotta read the book.
Because we have to remember the notion that what we see as love and what we think is love is not for everybody else. And that
Right,
doesn't mean it's wrong.
right.
It's just their perception of what they see as love. So just because you don't kiss or hug or touch doesn't mean you don't love someone. That's
100%
just not your love language.
language.
And speaking of that, real quick interruption, we have a Love Day coming up February 11th over on Naughty Love Movements channel. So be in tune for that. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes. So misbehaving. I think you really, because remember, y'all remember, I was like, I ain't reading that book. He need to shut his mouth. He need to not be talking to family business.
Right over here on Warriors World, she was talking all that trash.
Trash. You know how I like to run my mouth. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm thoroughly enjoying the book. But 100, I will be 10 toes down. His dad loved him.
Mhm.
I mean, the dad's still here. His dad loves him. His dad loves him. And you can listen, there are families that they love their what do you call it? Their child that's out there wilding the heck out.
Mhm.
They don't love what they're doing,
yes.
but they still love the child. And his father, and even Harry says it in the book, he says his father, the queen herself she wasn't all huggy, kissy, and touchy and all that. And his dad's dad was
That's a
all
whole
huggy,
nother.
and all that. Because they was off doing stuff for the monarch.
Doing stuff for the monarch, number one. But his dad also was his dad thought that, and I got this from The Crown, so that's why I say you gotta watch. His dad did not like that when Charles was growing up, that he was so sensitive. Charles was a crier. Charles was just very sensitive. And Prince Philip felt to be the future king, you can't be sensitive. You got to man up. What? And so they always struggled with their relationship because dad was like, okay, you need to man up. But then Charles was like, well, in order for me to be a man, you got to be here to teach me to be a man. So listen. But I love what Ms. Behavior said right here. Prince Harry has been emotionally and mentally abused all his life. Writing this book is his form of therapy.
I can connect to that.
That from the jump. I've been saying that from the jump.
I could connect to that. But you know what the part that I'm not connecting with, that unfortunately, that is he needs professional, in my opinion, intense therapy, because we're going to get to a part where later on in the book, one of the girlfriends that they ended up not being together. But again, he was like, this is the first time I cried since my mother died. Like,
so since we're there, because that's where I'm at in my notes.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So Harry, Prince William, Prince Harry, and Kate are in the car together. They're riding and they're having a conversation. And so Prince William tells Harry that you got some stuff going on, sir. And I need you to get it together. You need to seek some help.
You know what, Roy? Before you go there, can I add this? Right? Yes. He said, now when they was going for his brother's wedding to the church, he said, as always, my stomach lurched. I thought nothing like getting married in the same place where you did your mom's funeral, which was so sad, right? And then he said that the people were literally waiting in that church 2 hours before the wedding happened.
I'll see y'all later.
Y'all get the pictures, get it on your film, get it whatever, right?
Yeah, y'all got that.
So he said, so to break the tension between him and his brother, because his brother was very nervous, he said to break the tension between him and his brother, he said, I know they gotta pee. He said he knows some of them had to pee or whatever, like they needed to use the bathroom. So it was just sad. And then I'll read this part really quick. Yes. He said, I recall Kate walking down the aisle looking incredible, and I recall Willie, that's what he called his brother, walking her back up the aisle. And as they disappeared through the door into the carriage, that would convey them to Buckingham Palace. Into internal partnership they pledged. I recall thinking goodbye, because he knew at that point that they would never really be in each other's life like that again. And so there's a point where they moved out of the big palace, and so I forgot which one of the royals had moved out of another section,
Yeah.
like compound.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Kate and William moved into their own little separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what Prince Harry said was that he was like, okay, I just imagine myself going over there, them saying Uncle Harry, or you're here, and playing with them. But he was like, he ain't never seen them. He said, I would see their nanny come and go. So that's how close he was to them. His brother wasn't beat for him, so to speak. And that's sad.
Yeah.
And that, I think Misbehaving said emotionally abused his whole his existence. And but I'm gonna say a lot of it came from his brother versus his father.
Mentally and emotionally. Yeah.
Mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
Use and abuse him. Oh,
yes.
I don't talk to me while we in school, but now I gotta go out here and talk to the people. Come on, Harry.
Child.
Messy. Go ahead, boy.
Messy. Yes. Misbehaving, I do not know where this cup came from. I will look it up for you, but it's just a little, you put your tea in there, it softens, releases the flavors. Yes, I'll do a short on this cup so that you can go get you one. But yes, so, they were working on a mental health awareness project. And so this is where William, goes to tell Harry that you need to go get some mental help because you got some problems. And it was very dismissive the way it came off to me when I read it. It was just like, bro, you got some issues. You need to go take care of that and get on, with that stuff. And it's just like, I felt like they were trying to make it seem like that Harry just wanted to be negative all the time. But when you have no positive force pushing behind you, it may seem like negativity, but this is all I know. All I know is being alone. All I know is making it work however it can be. All I know is I just go wherever I'm pushed and told and do. You have the freedom to do what you want to do somewhat because you're the heir. You have better quality of things. You have better, you're first up in line to get the first choice anyways.
Yeah.
So, of course, you've probably already been through your therapy. Of course, you done already been down to the mental institute and got your medicine and you got yourself together. Of course, you got a wife to, nag to and carry your burdens off to and everything. While I'm here, Harry is 27 now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out my life.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in war. I want to be a part, not in war, excuse me. I want to be a part of our military and I want to do, what everybody else is doing. But guess what? Because of you, the heir, I can't.
That part.
And then you gonna dismiss me and tell me that I need to go get some help?
Child,
you ain't the one that needs some help too.
Child, he a messy older sibling. He messy.
He said specifically, Willie made jokes about what wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Willie did suggest therapy. This is on. I just wrote it down in my notes.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
187, round of 180s.
Okay.
Willie did suggest therapy where he found he was suffering from PTSD. So this is when Prince Harry really kind of gets the understanding, okay, I'm not crazy. I don't have, there really is some things that I need to deal with and work out in order to get to the best mental place I can be to survive.
Sad.
And he also found out that meditating and working really helped him get through those rough PTSD moments. Mm-hmm. And he just felt most at peace when he was working, serving his country, serving his community. Because now at this point in time, he's been over in Africa. He's been over in Australia. He's been over in different countries. Like his mom. He's helping with the AIDS crisis. He is making those connections that his mom made across the country, when she was living. And even this part right here just really, again, made me think, as you said earlier, Diana left this earth and her soul transferred right over to Prince Harry because it was just like, oh my God, like, whoo, shivering.
It went boop, boop. And he talked about how his mom wasn't afraid of AIDS patients. Like she will hold their hands.
He said leprosy, that his mom made America recognize that AIDS is not leprosy.
Yeah.
That is exactly what he said.
His mother was definitely a special type of just
Whew.
and it's so sad. And there are some cultures that have arranged marriages, and I don't have nothing against it because they
You
work.
do what you do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and listen, for a lot of people, they work and they work well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something too when somebody already is in love with somebody for sure. And she was another spare.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what, Leslie, that part right there, I didn't even think about it like that, but that's how she got treated. That's how Diana got treated, like a spare, and even by her own husband, like a spare
on a regular,
all time. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. A picnic at Buckingham Palace, girl. Yes, we go. Yes, we're going over to the Royal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, boy. Yeah, she was a true impact. Definitely.
Yes.
Harry definitely got that from his mother.
Yes.
For sure.
Ooh, that is so real.
Sure.
Oh my God. Oh yes.
For sure. I
Ooh.
mean, for sure. It's just,
Leslie, that's a great point. I love that.
Isn't it a great point?
Because if you don't know, you guys, empaths feel everything that come across their eyes.
Yeah.
Everything. And it's a heart feeling, not a physical feeling, but a heart, a spirit, and an emotional feeling. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah. So it's just like, you know what? It's just like, it's so sad that he was never just embraced.
Welcome to the other side of things.
Robin, don't you start on Saturday.
Thank you, Auntie Robin.
On Saturday. But you know what, though? It was like, so my thing is too, if anything, I want people to connect with TJ Maxx in the UK. Look, there's one down the street from Kensington Palace.
Good savings.
Trying to tell you.
He was trying to keep the Royals on their budget.
That part. So I think that, Harry, the thing is your darling boy.
And there are still moments, even in this chapter, where his dad, a little bit earlier in the chapter, where his dad references him as darling boy. Yeah, I love that.
And that right there is a term of endearment.
Yes.
That's a term.
That's love. That's love.
That's love. And so, you know what we can learn as people, Royer, from this book is that, people love the best way they know how to love. And because maybe a person is not loving you the way that you experience or know love to be, doesn't mean that they don't love you.
That's right.
So I want people to just look at some of the people in their life. And I'm not talking about somebody where it's 100% apparent they just treat you dirty. But I want you to give people some grace.
Have a heart. We ended off last week. Have a heart.
You know what? Listen, Roy, if Eda, we're going to give her 6 months out of this year. If she don't do it, we're going to have to do it, honey. We're going to come with our
Snatch it up.
Hashtag have a heart, okay? Show some compassion.
We'll ask her backstage next time. We may get a yes in advance. We can go.
That part. So I think that we need to all have a heart, have some compassion, and just try to meet people where they are, in a sense. If someone didn't grow up hugging, it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to learn. But understand, they can't give you what they don't know how to give you. That's and true. His father, even though his father didn't get all of that from his dad, his father, and for Harry to mention this in the book, the moments that his father gave him, that means that Harry recognized that as his father giving him love.
And he appreciates it.
Yeah, he appreciates it. He doesn't just talk grimy. And I thought before reading the book that he doesn't just talk gutter and grimy about the dad. He gives his truths. And in his truths, he does show where his dad showed the love and the compassion to him. But go ahead.
Yeah. Coach, I love this. Do you think that William was taught to mistreat Harry at an early age by people who controlled the way the boys were raised? I can't answer that question based on the details of this book because Harry does not give us, I'll speak for me, Harry does not give me the understanding that they were taught to mistreat each other. I think more so it's more so of the heir and the spare kind of thing. As we said last week, the heirs, they were just kind of untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
They are not commoners, if you may. The spare is still a commoner to the heir.
That part. You know what? This is an interesting question.
This is right.
It really is. You know what I would say about that? He was indirectly toward.
And
it was to the point that you just said, I'm the heir.
Yeah.
I'm the heir.
Yeah.
You go sit down.
Yeah. Look, in the words of Blue.
And listen. I don't care if mom wrote in that will or whatever that ring was yours. I'm the heir. It's mine. My wife. My wife.
That kind of confused me, Diva, when he was like, it was mine, but not mine to have, or it was never mine to, or whatever it was. I was just like, oh wow, like
it wasn't his because he knows that everything goes to the heir.
To the heir, yes. But it was just like the dismissitivity of it all.
But see, you know what though? You can have a sibling that kind of knows they're the chosen one, but they still don't do their siblings dirty.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? But William knows he's the chosen one, and he treats his brother accordingly. You're the spare. Sit down, shut up, take the hit on every little scandal that comes down the pike. You're the one that's going to take the hit for it, not me. I got to keep my name and my reputation clean. So if some scandal goes on, we got no part. We have to blame it on you.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, what did look? She said the writing.
This writing, however, will push him further away from his family as they won't understand the deepness of his emotions.
100%.
I agree.
Right, and I said that. Yeah, that I did say.
You did say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like once he wrote this book, Harry already knew what was coming down the pipeline. It's not like any of this is new. It's not like that the issue began right before he made this book. This has been stuff that's been going on for generations. This is not exclusive to Harry.
Right.
This was going on before Harry. And unfortunately, it will continue to happen after Harry.
That part. But don't you think Harry and Meghan they're going to beat me up? Do I use this word? A little delusional, right? You can't, Royer, if I want to make amends with you, and every time somebody put a mic in my face, I'd be like, yo, he's trash. He did this to me. He called my kid a spare. He did that. Do you think that's going to help bring us together?
This family is dysfunctional as a whole, so I don't know if anything would bring us together no matter what.
Facts. And wait, Sarah, real talk? That is real talk, what you wrote right there.
One thing I'm surprised about in this book is the relationship between him and William. Yes! I was shocked. Especially in this here recent chapter, this part 2. I think part 2 really kind of gave William the villain look. Like it's the villain for me.
What?
Like, it definitely took the picture off of Pa and went on right to Willie.
Yeah. And I don't think it's exaggerated.
No.
I think that's exactly. I can't talk to you in the school. Now I ain't really your best man. And then when I do speak as your best man, I gotta say 2.2 words.
And see, when they were living together, when they were in the training session, you remember he said that he couldn't remember if he invited him to stay, if Willie invited him to stay, or if Harry had to invite himself.
And I'm sure it was the latter. I'm sure
it was the latter. He just had to make it look good for the book.
That part.
So, Diva, let's kind of start wrapping this up because we are an hour and 20 minutes in. Right, we went through this. So, I wanted to point this out too. Not you, Diva, but Diva.
Who?
Because you're over Africa, because you do your work in Africa, I can't come to Africa and do work. country.
He never wanted Prince Harry in his vicinity. He never wanted him. He wanted him more than a 6-foot distance away. Yo, his brother was off the chain, out of pocket, out of line. You know what? Who said that he always was disrespected, mistreated, misbehaving? You know what? I'm going back and connecting to what she's saying now. He was always emotionally and what I forgot the other word she said.
Emotionally and mentally, I think it was. Emotionally and mentally, I think it was.
Always. I mean, his brother was a piece of work. A piece of work.
A true piece of work.
I was like, yo, I was reading like, is he serious right now?
And that's what I said. That's why I had to write in big bold letters. Diva, you are just, you are, how dare you? How dare you tell your brother that he can't come to a country to serve? It ain't like he was coming to party.
That part.
It ain't like he was coming to have a drink.
That part.
It ain't like he was coming to eat some grapes. I mean, he can't come and serve the people of the country that y'all stole so much from anyways.
Yeah. So what we're talking about, guys, we might have, because we got all excited.
Sorry.
We might have got There's a point in the book, because you know Prince Harry served in the services. He served in the army. That's why Karma's spinning the block and snatch. I'm putting this here.
All right, misbehaving.
Oh my God, I can't. So Harry was in the services. He was serving, and William was, doing his charity work or whatever he was doing in Africa, right? And so he was about to come and serve in Africa, right? Raya?
Yes.
And his brother told him, hold on now. Yeah. Hold on now. Mm-hmm. I do find charity. Go ahead.
Mike and Tej had asked, what can you do to get over to Africa to help with the AIDS crisis?
Yeah.
And so really he was going to serve based off of himself and a favor that two of his friends asked him to do, because they knew that he had the platform, he had the money, he had the wherewithal, the same thing that his mother had. Yeah. He had it to go over to influence and make a better change for the continent of Africa. I was outdone. I was outdone.
William said, no, not in Africa. I don't know, go over there, go to Compton. I don't care where you go, okay? Go to Compton, go to Jersey.
So, yeah, that was a hot mess. So closing this out, Diva, as we're going into the final couple of chapters of this part 2, Prince Harry is turned 30 now. He's ready to settle down. He's ready to find that one. His biggest regret, in my opinion, and kind of from what I read from the book, he didn't want to be like his dad. A lot of the people in the Commonwealth had an issue that Prince Charles was 32. He didn't have a baby. He didn't have a wife. He was just kind of frolicking around in these streets. And so he did not want that same reputation that his father had. And so we're kind of seeing now that Harry is kind of trying to find his way as he's going into his 30s, as he's worked hard in the military, as he's seen his brother off to get married, as he's seen his dad off to get married. He's lost some friends along the way. I think, and we kind of missed this.
Just add this real quick right here. At 30, another triggering point for him in terms of his mother. He got the inheritance that his mother left for him.
Yes.
He can't catch a break.
Catch a break.
Yeah, and he could care less about the money, really. He would have rather have his mother. Yeah. But even when he gets the money, it's not like he can again spend it on and do whatever he wants to do. People oversee what he do with his money. Like, it's a lot. But go ahead, Ray. I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, no, that was really all I wanted to mention. And we're going into the year 30. He's ready to settle down. I think this is kind of a turning point. We're seeing a turning point for Harry as we prepare for this part 3 of the book. Anything else, Diva, you want to mention?
No, because we could pick it up all in part 3. I think we did a good little recap there. We hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yes.
And we hope y'all are enjoying. I hope y'all reading along with us, and I hope y'all enjoying our recap. We do want to give away a book. I don't know how you want to do the giveaway, Royer.
However you want to do it, you go ahead and do it, because I'm still trying to run through the comments. So look, I love it. Y'all blowing up the chat. Y'all, yes.
Yeah, y'all coming through. Y'all coming through. So listen, guys. How am I going to do this? We're going to look through the chat. We're going to look through the chat because it's late in the hour. We're going to look through the chat. We're going to pick somebody, and we'll announce when we do part 3 who has won the book. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to do it. So we want to thank all y'all for being here. Don't forget, subscribe. But go ahead, Royer, close this thing out.
Listen, I didn't get to everybody's comment, but I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming over today and joining me in Royer's World alongside my favorite diva. As I stated earlier, if you have not, if you can, I need you as a personal favor to me to go on down to the search engine bar on the YouTube page, and I need you to type in Chronicles of the Gray-Haired Diva. And before you click on her page, I need you to click subscribe. And then after you subscribe, I need you to go into her videos, and I need you to watch a couple of videos. Hit like. Watch a few shorts. Hit like. And then go over to our weekly lives and comment down below and hit like on those videos too, because we have some amazing fun over on Diva's channel, okay? I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. Listen, we got our Laugh, Love, Inspire tour still going. We got Naughty coming up this month. We got some few other people coming up in the months hereafter, so we are super excited. Next week is going to be our final part 3. And Diva, I think it will be fun if we allow people to come in and talk to us on their experience of the book.
What did you thinking on your feet?
So we're going to go on down to Diva's channel.
Yes.
And we are going to let y'all come in the building and have the conversation along with us. Because in this final chapter, this final part,
woo,
if part 1 and part 2 has been like this, just imagine what part 3 finna be like. We have already established that William is a diva.
Yes. William is a diva, okay? He a piece of work. Don't come to Africa like you own Africa. He better go sit down somewhere.
Several seats. Several of them.
You can't be my best man. He a piece of work.
How dare you? Listen, y'all hit the like button, comment down below in the comment section, and subscribe to my channel, Laugh, Love, Inspire Tour. Go subscribe to Diva's channel. I think that is everything. We're giving away a free copy next week, so make sure you're here just in case you're the winner. And then join us next week as we go live all together to give the final review of Prince Harry's Spare, okay? Thank y'all for joining me. Please go like and subscribe, comment everywhere. Let's remember to spread laugh, love, and inspiration throughout the rest of this 2023. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.